Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. This is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Taurus. If Taurus is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's see what we have, Taurus. All right, whoo. Always bumping into the camera stand here. Okay, so seeing some pretty strong symbols here right off the bat. And sometimes if I pull it away, see some kind of a larger overall image, but mostly I'm kind of just okay. So these are pretty interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna start out with let's see. I always start with the heart, okay? And obviously this is a very large formation and it's quite dense. If I can just get this kind of to the side, there we go. You can see that it's pretty dense with leaves. And you might ask, why do we have so many hearts? Well, one is because a lot of us come to these readings because we're wondering about our love lives or our families or, you know, our friendships, things like that. So the hearts appear a lot, but also it has to do with the way that the water or the tea drains from the bowl while I'm drinking it. So it is kind of a natural formation. And so it seems like love is really on your mind. It's also, I mean, it's right on the edge here. So yes, it's big on the mind. It's in that emotional, psychic, you know, in your awareness, consciousness, and something you've been thinking about a lot, okay? But it's also kind of reaching up into the spiritual zone and down to the more physical realm here. So this is, because of the size and the density, I assume that this is a romantic relationship that you are concerned with. And I don't mean concerned that there's a problem, but this is in your mind. This is something you're thinking about. This is important to you. You are concerning yourself with it. So, yeah, I think that's a big part of this energy that is going on here. Okay, and I want to look at, there's some kind of interesting little formations. And this one was the first one I was kind of looking at. And it almost looks like a teddy bear with like a hat on or something, but it's sitting, just kind of gazing this way. And then over here, this one kind of looks like a little, it almost reminds me of kind of like a little manga, like hamster or baby or something running towards this heart here. Okay, so I feel that there's kind of a sense of almost like a juvenile kind of love, a young love, an innocent love, a new, untainted, unsullied kind of love and attraction going on. And I think that's probably because it's not, I feel like you haven't been together long or at all. This could be like a flirtation. This could be the beginnings of dating. but I don't feel like you've been through any crises together. It feels like, well, in my head, I go to, this is like definitely not somebody you live with, right? This is somebody that has their own place or they live somewhere else. You don't see the day-to-day with this person. So you kind of still have these like rose-colored lenses while thinking about them because you haven't really had to coexist with them. And we all know that when you live with somebody or coexist with somebody that, you know, it changes things. And that's not a bad thing, but that's the reality of it. So I feel that there's almost a sense of just kind of just adoration and like puppy love. Okay. And I think that that's been really refreshing, kind of invigorating for you. I think it's taken your attention quite a bit. I think you've really kind of like immersed yourself in this feeling and your feelings for this person. And again, I think they're new. Okay. So, now, I don't know if you, you know, are single or, you know, maybe in an open relationship or maybe not. Maybe you are with somebody else, but this person has caught your eye. Okay. Whatever it is, I do think that it has really kind of changed the whole vibe of your life right now. Okay. I just kind of want to look. This one is really large, okay? And it looks like a goose to me. It looks like it's in flight. It reminds me of that migration posture that we've talked about in other readings quite extensively, really. But I will talk about it in this one because maybe you didn't see those other readings. But the birds, especially the geese and ducks and other migratory birds, when I have formations where they are flying, to me that is a, you know, transitory state, transition, moving, emotional, departure, kind of, you know, you're moving on to the next thing. Okay. And this, this is my Aries reading was kind of about something similar, but, yeah, I feel like you're kind of really just interested in getting to know this newer person. And, if you are in a relationship, I feel like, you know, something has caught your eye. Okay. And as I've discussed in the other reading, this does not have to be so black and white as you've met somebody new, you want to leave the person that you're with. This could be about the person that you're with right now. You could easily be falling back in love with them after a period of turmoil. This could be a person that is part of your own spiritual dynamic. It could be like a non-corporeal entity. It could be your anima/animus or some other manifestation of an archetype within yourself. Okay, so it doesn't have to be you know, some person you met at work or at school or, you know, at wherever people meet each other, I guess online or, you know, wherever. I don't even know where you would meet somebody. Not you, but I don't know where people meet each other. I guess like on dating apps and stuff. So, I just feel like there's just a feeling, and I have had this in my readings a lot lately. There's this feeling of just kind of being over whatever has been going on in your life. Not because it's been terrible, or not because some dire, apocalyptic event has happened. It's just a feeling of I'm getting on in my life and I'm ready for something else. And you want to try new things. You want to do something different than you've done before. You want to maybe move somewhere else. Start a different kind of job. It's just a feeling of ready for change, okay? And not wanting to wait around for the world to bring that to you. I feel like there's really been a collective movement towards, just really fulfilling your will, your nature, not just, sitting on the sidelines of your own life, which is awesome. I think that's so wonderful that, quite a few of the signs that I've read for recently, there's just this kind of, very like self-actualized vibe going on. So I really think that, and then we have this other, another goose, but this one is landed, okay, and it's standing, and it looks like it has some little babies, okay, and so I feel like, and I think this flying goose is related to you, because this is right in the center. This is about you. This other goose up here, I feel like, is maybe somebody, a mentor, a parent, an aunt and uncle, an older friend. They don't have to be older, but they could be like a mom friend, a dad friend, somebody who is kind of an advice giver, likes to watch over their people. And, I think that they're just kind of, really have been a part of your life a lot lately. I feel like you're getting a lot of love and support. Kind of this feeling of whatever you decide, I'm going to support you. And, you might be 50, 60, 70 years old, but to have somebody that is in your corner and telling you, I'm going to support you and love you unconditionally, it doesn't matter how old we are. To have somebody like that really helps give us that bravery to move forward with these things that we want to do, try in life, okay? And I don't get the impression that you are stepping out on somebody, or my last reading, it seemed like more there was kind of a already pre-existing relationship. This one, I mean, there might be, but I don't know. I don't feel like there's as much turmoil with this. I feel like you really have met somebody that seems very interesting to you, and you are kind of just really excited to, get to know this person and spend time with them. And I want to point out we have a 4. Okay, so look for a 4 in your life. And then if we turn it, it looks like a 3. So look for a 4 and a 3, or a 3 and a 4. And then we have the 4 reiterated with the 3 right in front of it. So maybe it's a 34. But either way, look for those 4s, look for those 3s. Those are going to be important. We also have a T that is right here in the mental. So you've been thinking about somebody with a T name. Okay. And I kind of really like the letters and numbers, because so often I'll get like a comment or a message or an email where somebody's like, oh my goodness, this is how that relates to me. And I think that's so cool to hear about that. Let's see. I want to pull this out because it looks a little bit different when I'm looking from here. Now I have this one, this one, this one, this one. And I want to go with, let's look at this rabbit first, okay? And I just wanted to also say, this one looks like there's a D kind of hidden in there. So maybe there's also a D person, okay? So we have 4, 3, 3, 4. Oh, 2, there's the 2. And so 2, 3, 4. Not in that order though. And then we had the, what was it? The T. There was a T and this D over here. And I'm also seeing an F in it. An F and a U, but that's not, those two don't go together. Those are separate. There's a lot of letters in here today. But I think really that 3 and the 4 are really important. Those are the big ones. Okay, and the 2 as well, because the 2 is really beautifully, I just noticed that. So that's really pretty. Okay, and then we have this rabbit. It looks like it's kind of standing up. It almost kind of reminds me of a doll as well. There's like all of these kinds of, they all look like little drawings, like cartoons or children's book drawings. This looks like a little hamster we have right here. And let's look. So we have this rabbit. The rabbit for me often is, as most people would relate it, fertility, good luck, abundance, and I relate them also to guardians of our dwelling places, our backyard spirits. When rabbits will allow you to see them, you are a very blessed and lucky soul. And I think especially when they live around you, they, you know, I think rabbits really feel the energy and when they share spaces with you, they are very aware of what kind of person you are, what your routines are. Are you a safe person? Are you not? Do you have other animals that are safe or not? And so for me, anyhow, I think it's so important to make relationships with the creatures that live around you and to live in some kind of harmony as much as you can. Of course, they do get into the gardens and that kind of thing. But let me just shout out, there are ways to plant things for them or feed them away from the garden, so they maybe will stay out of some of that good stuff that you don't want them to get into. But anyhow, I think that really in this situation, it's a good omen, okay? This is like a blessing on your head. And I think that really relates to this beautiful, it looks like a person wearing a robe or a dress. They're kind of in a dancing posture. It looks like the hair's kind of flowing. The arms are kind of reached up. And I get this feeling of lightness, just kind of basking in the joy of them now. Really just, you know, waking up, feeling like you're gliding across the floor. It's going to be a new day. And I also want to bring up this card. And this is the Knight of Cups. It's a beautiful card, isn't it? With the blues and the greens and the little bit of red. And so this is from the Thoth deck. And this would also be equal to the King of Cups. So Knight of Cups in the Thoth deck. And what we have is kind of this masculine energy that is kind of water on water, very emotional, very sensitive, okay, very prone to you know, like grand gestures of love, poetry, courtship, but easily that tide could change if they feel kind of you know, if somebody says the wrong thing or doesn't do things as they would want them. They feel slighted, and, you know, they shift very easily. I think that we also, you know, we can get into some of those levels of obsession, of, you know, flooding with too much interest, too much attention, too much communication. And, you know, for me, I am a talker, and I will go on and on and on. And I'm sure my poor husband sometimes is like, okay, we need a break. You know, when we have time together, I just want to talk. So, you wouldn't usually hear me say too much communication, but sometimes I think with some people it's true. It just gets to a point where it's so overwhelming and almost feels like you're being drowned by the person that just is oversharing, being overly emotive, and almost to a point where it can seem like they're being manipulative or controlling with their emotions, or how they display their emotions, right? And so, on the flip side of that, there's, you know, a lot of the joy and love, and, you know, it's almost so intertwined, and we see the grail appear. So the kind of the vessel to hold the spirit, you know, the God source, the word. And, so this is so close to meeting that range of divinity and agape, but kind of almost just falling short a little bit, right? And I think that there can be a sense of frustration in that a bit. Okay, so the work really is in finding a great balance so that it doesn't get to be too much for the person, especially if it's a new thing, right? It's wonderful to bask in that new love, the honeymoon period, but some people are more tempered in how, you know, they come into relationships. And so I feel that this is kind of a message saying, okay, you know, you're very wrapped up in these feelings. You're probably wanting to go a little quicker than maybe you usually would with this relationship, but you need to really just, you know, try to go a little slower, enjoy it, but, you know, don't be totally consumed by it. And, you know, just, it can be off-putting, I think, it can be off-putting. It could almost be disingenuous, I guess, to some people, when you're so on from the very beginning, the highs, and, you know, saying I love you within a couple days, or, you know, things like that. And I'm not talking badly or passing judgment. I'm just reading what I'm seeing, and I think that this idea of just kind of going a little slower would be good. But if you have these feelings, and find ways to celebrate them, to feel them, to bask in them, but don't smother the other person with them unless they seem receptive and, you know, are meeting you with that same energy. But even then, it's like you have to go a little bit slow, because you don't want to burn out super quick, right? Unless this is not, you know, you don't have the intention of this being a really long-term thing, which is fine as well, right? You know, not everything has to last forever. I want to look at this other shape here, and it looks like a dove to me. And I think that this is just that real sense of peace, light. I feel like this is kind of like, you know, where you're at, there's blessings from above and below and all in between, and, you know, it from the top to the bottom. And below, I don't mean, you know, the pits of hell or something. I mean below the material world. I mean this in an alchemical way, as above, so below. So yes, there are blessings within your mundane life all the way up to the divine sectors of being. So I think that you're doing well. I think you just got to remember yourself, enjoy it, enjoy the ride. And, you know, I say all this, it does not always have to be a romantic thing. This could be a new friendship. This could be, like we had talked about at the beginning, this could be a relationship with yourself. Finding new parts of yourself. Applying your time and energy to working on strengthening aspects of self. Healing. Clearing blockages. Being very attentive. But, you know, you're in a place where you feel very elated and joyous, and there's a lot of that serotonin flowing, dopamine, serotonin. So it seems like you're really in a good place. It's just a matter of, you know, staying aware and taking care that you don't get so lost in it that when something doesn't go the way that you intended to, or visualize it, or have planned it, that you don't come crashing down, okay? And, you know, that's just the mom in me. I don't want to see anybody hurting or struggling unnecessarily. Okay. Oh, shoot. Just poke that. Now, seems like I almost get a sense of kind of, it's almost like a feeling of like frantic or manic, or it's like you've had the first beautiful day of spring, right? And there's a million things that you had been dreaming of doing over, you know, the course of the last months that have been so cold. And you're so excited to do all of the things that you can't decide what to do, okay? You cannot decide where to apply yourself completely. It's just so much good feeling going on. And you're getting lost and distracted in these planning and deciding places that there's not a lot of action happening, or presence, or just being in the moment. So I think that's something that is really showing up in here. And I get the sense of getting ahead of yourself a little bit. But this is exactly what I was saying about, you know, just trying to take it a little slower, being very intentional about the things you do and say. You can feel very good and enjoy somebody, but, you know, you have to remember yourself. Don't get swept away in it, okay? And, you know, Taurus, I have known quite a few of you in my life, and, you know, I know that especially solar Tauruses are people who really just, you know, I think are like pleasure forward people, I guess. And I just mean like you enjoy doing what you like to do, and you get very like blinders to other things when you're like kind of really into something. It can become like a fixation. And so I think just be mindful of that. I think there's going to be some of that going on. I don't think it's too much though. You can keep it in control. There's chaos, but it feels like controlled chaos. It's not all over. It's, you know, within a contained area. So I think just be mindful of that. Watch your moods. Stay with your routines as much as you can. You know, and just, you know, I guess it's just my big thing that I want to convey to you is not to be giving up everything to do this thing that's going on right now. You have to kind of stay the course with your other endeavors, your career, your domestic life, you know, but also your spiritual work, your self-work, and the things that you enjoy doing. Okay. It's easy to meet somebody and want to do everything with them, like every free moment. And, you know, some of your passions, endeavors, whatever, can be put on the back burner. And then, you know, that's, you know, it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you have to be sure, I think. So just get to know the person before you do all of that, I guess is my advice. Okay, Taurus, thank you so much. I am always so honored to be able to bring you these messages. Please come back again and watch more readings. If you enjoyed this one, if it resonated with you, or if you just liked hearing it, you know, think about liking the video. It helps me get in the algorithm, and that's awesome. And if you have not already subscribed, think about subscribing. Leave a comment. I love hearing from you. I do private readings. I've done some really fun ones recently. If you are interested, go into the description, and there are instructions about that in there. Okay, I guess that is it. Aries, we'll see you again in 12 days. In the meantime, watch your other placements, your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising, and a lot of people watch their venal or Venus placements. And yeah, thank you.